Unless you have millions of friends that want to work with you, to become a multimillionaire, you need to reach and help people that you don't know, that are complete strangers. So I'm on a Zoom call with this woman, total stranger, never met her before, seemed like a great fit for our program. She was out of control with food. We knew that we could help her. So we spend an hour together and it just feels wonderful. She's grateful. She has this really awful story of how this is destroying her life, destroying her family. She's an absolute yes. We get to the end. We talk about the investment. She says, oh my gosh, that is so much less than I even spent on this last thing that I did when I tried to go to this center. And it just feels so wonderful. Then I start the onboarding process and she just stares at me for a moment. And then the whole energy changes and she turns in to the most scary, threatening person. She is making horrible statements about my physical safety, about what she is going to do, about all the ways that she will destroy me and my family. And remember, I have never met this person before tonight. Welcome to part 29 of Deprogramming from Capitalism, where I share my raw, honest story of how I became a multimillionaire and why I decided to let it all go. So I try to, in the most kind and loving way, let her know that she is not a fit for our community. And I get off of this Zoom call and I'm just like shaking in my house. This is the end of like a 12-hour day. I'm terrified, like I don't know if I'm safe, like I'm like trying to check in my mind, like how would she find me? And I seriously consider giving up. I'm like, why would I spend my days doing this if this is what I'm having to experience? And then in that moment, I remember all of the incredible people that we save their life, that we transform their lives, that we transform their family's life, that thank us every single day that we're complete strangers before we helped them. And in that moment, I realized that I will never reach those people if I don't move through the kind of people that I just talked to tonight. This story actually gets way crazier, so I'll finish the video telling you about that. But here's the point, that's not the last time that that happened, but that was the most terrified I ever was of that happening. And a year later, when something like that would happen, there was no emotional turmoil. Maybe like a little bit of like, oh, that feels really bad. But I would literally just go into process mode. I was numb to it by that point. Be like, oh, there's a threatening person. Let's label them threatening so we don't invite them accidentally into the program later, or we don't let them book another call with us. And these are just the strangers that you deal with to get to the strangers that you love and you're gonna save their life. Okay, so about a year after this happened, now I had a sales team and I was still doing sales as well, but on the sales team, we had somebody new and she was like, oh, I'm celebrating that I enrolled a new client. And we're like, that is so awesome. And so to help her, because she was new, I wanted to review her call and celebrate what went well. And I pull up the Zoom session and it's the same woman, the threatening woman. Now, she had a very distinctive look and a very distinctive accent. So I wasn't like mistaking it, like, oh, she reminds me of, like, this was the same woman. So I feel that like flush of like cortisol, like stress hormones, and I'm like, no! And because I got a lot of grit at this point, I just called our new client, scary person, and we talk. I'm like, hey, you may remember me. We had a call a year ago. This is what happened. This would make you not a fit for our program. This is a safe environment. I did it with a lot of love, but there was no way that I was gonna have this really scary person exposed to our client community. And she's like, oh, she's very nice. You must have talked to my identical twin sister. Look, I still don't know the truth of everything, but she convinced me enough that she was the identical twin sister. She was so nice. She came into our program, did all the work, ended her problem with being out of control with food, was so incredibly grateful. And apparently we coached the twin sister of this extremely scary person.